How much do you have to change a game to make a proper sequel? It's a question that doesn't have a single correct answer. For some games, you have to write a new story, design new worlds, create an entire physics engine, while others keep their fans happy by simply adding more of the same. Super Smash Bros. Often falls into the latter category. Despite being over 2 decades old, very little has changed about the Smash Bros. Formula since its inception. Mostly because, well, it hasn't had to. Sakurai could do nothing but add newcomers for the next 2 decades and people would love him for it. I would too. Getting to see all of these characters together at once is the main reason I love this series. But just because something isn't broken, doesn't mean we can't try to make it better. Quick disclaimer. For the 7 of you that haven't heard about it, at the time of this video's release, a new Smash Bros. Game was right around the corner. But despite it fueling my interest in making this video, I want to be clear that I'm not trying to predict what that game will be. These are my ideas of where the series should go, not where it will go. Is that all clear? Good. Let's begin. Smash Bros. Has a very interesting dichotomy when it comes to how it plays, since it's a game that appeals to both a casual and competitive audience. Some people prefer the multiplayer chaos of setting items on high, while others stick to neutral stages, where they can test their skill. Neither of these playstyles is inherently wrong, but it's hard to please one without alienating the other. Now, the logical thing to do is to focus on the casual crowd. But what if I told you there was a way to please both? Instead of arguing whether Melee or Smash 4's game speed is the ideal way to play, let's make it customizable. Real-time strategy games do this all the time. Just add a simple slider like this, and boom, everybody's happy. Give an option to remove individual stage hazards. Choose which transformations appear on Pokemon Stadium, which areas of traveling stages the platform will stop, or if it even stops at all. And if you love the chaos, crank that dial up to 11. Have an option for Smash Run enemies to randomly pop up in stages. Give every character some kind of random element to their movesets. Make hazards even deadlier and even more frequent. No. In addition to pleasing both fan bases, adding customization options like this allows us to be more creative with the features we include. With that in mind, I present to you the Transformation Meter. Or in other words, it's basically Guitar Hero Star Power. It's a simple concept. Hit your enemy, and the meter goes up. At the press of a button, you can spend the meter to transform your character into a stronger version of themselves, which lasts longer depending on how much of the meter you filled. And maybe if you fill it completely, you get your final smash.
But that just means everyone will spam projectiles in the corner till their meter is full.
If it was poorly designed, yes, but we can work around that. Every character's meter would fill at a different pace, depending on what they are doing. The riskier the move, the more of the gauge it fills. We could even implement a combo system where if you chain multiple different moves together, the meter would fill exponentially faster. This would reward aggressive and creative play, pushing players to chase after their opponents in the hopes of getting an edge sooner. And of course, if players prefer not to use this feature, they are free to turn it off. I personally wouldn't. I love this idea. It would punish annoying, campy playstyles. But there's no good reason to exclude options. As a general rule of thumb, the more options a game has, the more people can enjoy it. Smash has had an average track record of following that rule, and I would like that to change. There is another major gameplay change I'd like to make, but I'm not entirely sold on if it's a good one. Here's my train of thought. At its core, Smash Bros. Gameplay is essentially rock, paper, scissors. Except in this case, it's attack, grab, shield. Attacks beat grabs, grabs go through shields, shields block attacks. There are plenty of ways to attack your opponents. Every character has a unique grab and throw, but shields. Shields are boring. What if every character had something unique about their defensive option? For example, Fox already has his reflector. What if that became his shield? One that reflects projectiles, deals slight damage on activation, and doesn't absorb physical attacks completely to compensate, or something of the sort. Again, I'm not sold on the idea. It makes balancing more complicated, and I can't even tell if it's really fun. But for the sake of discussion, I wanted to throw it out there. Going back to must-have changes, let's talk about ways to play Smash Brothers. Since the beginning of the series, we've had timed matches and stock matches. That is it. No new main multiplayer modes have been added to the game since. None. Nope. Not one. It's high time for some new modes, and I've got 3. I cannot believe this hasn't happened yet. Smash's entire concept revolves around knocking characters out of an arena, yet we haven't gotten the King of the Hill mode? How?
Isn't the entire game a King of the Hill mode?
Here's how it would work. A small area of the stage would be designated as the hill. The goal of the match is to stay in that area for a customizable amount of time, and the first character to do that wins. There's a lot we can do with a mode like this. We can give the option for multiple hills to spawn in team games, have the hill randomly move around every 30 seconds, maybe even make a reverse King of the Hill, where a negative zone exists in the center of the stage, and the only way to gain points is to knock opponents into it. Like this, but mandatory. I will not be the first person to suggest this, and I won't be the last, because this needs to happen. This mode would play the same as regular Smash Brothers, but every stock represents a different character. Simple as that. This is another, I cannot believe this hasn't happened yet. This one especially so because it is literally already in the game. Okay, picture this. Take the Kung Foot minigame from Rayman Legends and put it into Smash Brothers. Except in this case, there is no ball, and you can't get close to either goal. Unless you're launched into it. Hole in one! Come on, you know it's brilliant. Make a few enclosed arenas, maybe some design for 4 teams and 8-player Smash, unique power-ups for the mode. They could make this an entirely separate game. So those are the main modes. But what about the extra ones? The one area of Smash for Wii U I think we can all agree was not very good. We went from the epic adventure of the Subspace Emissary to this. And that just won't do. Here's the premise. The barriers between dimensions are falling apart, causing tears in reality across the Nintendo universes. In order to stop the destruction of their world, your character must journey across the realms to the source of this chaos and put a stop to it. Functionality-wise, this would be a mesh of Melee's Adventure Mode and Smash 3DS's Classic Mode, traveling down branching paths to reach an end goal. But in this case, each of these destinations is fixed, and they all represent a different Adventure Mode style level. Platforming across the Mushroom Kingdom, fighting across a Fire Emblem battlefield, taking on all challengers in the Punch-Out Ring, you get the picture. Each of these instances would feature a very short narrative. We're talking Fire Emblem support conversations. Just something simple to allow these characters to interact with each other. See what happens when Wario tries to steal Sonic's rings, when the Pokemon trainer tries to catch Bowser Jr., and everybody's fruitless attempts at communicating with Mr. Game & Watch. That's all I really want from a story mode in Smash Brothers, to see these characters interact with each other. Don't get me wrong, the Subspace Emissary was great, but an overarching narrative with this many characters can't involve everyone. This way, everybody gets a chance at the spotlight, and you'd want to replay it again and again to see everything. So, better modes, interesting new mechanics, and greater customization. Those are the major things I want to see improved in the Smash Brothers series. Or at least, the complicated ones. I have a bunch of other changes I want to see, but they are either rather minor or incredibly simple, so we're just gonna rattle through them real quick. Every Smash game has had a way of earning a massive amount of collectibles very quickly, Brawl's Coin Launcher being my personal favorite. Taking inspiration from that, I want to see a pinball minigame where you knock the Smash Ball into trophies to collect them. character specific. Yes, I know there'd be a lot of them, but look at these designs. They would not be that hard to mass produce. And bring back board the platforms while we're at it. This could be the best mode in the history of Smash Bros. If you could simply interact with other players on the main map. So let's do that. Let me create lobbies. Protecting the children be damned. I want to be able to play with strangers, talk to them over voice chat, and set my own rules. Maybe I want to 1v1 on a stage that isn't Final Destination. Maybe I only want some of the items. Maybe I want a tournament mode that isn't hot garbage. In this day and age, I should be able to do that. And I can't believe I have to say this, but it should run well. Here's the plan. Outsource this to the studio who made Mario Maker. Have them make Super Smash Maker, make it fully compatible with current and future versions of Smash Bros., and allow customizable break the targets and board the platforms. Oh god. If you need to label a menu option with "and more," you have failed at properly organizing your menu. And lastly, for the most important change, something that has dragged down the series for years, that we only recently discovered the technology to implement, every character needs a cancelable dance taunt. Would this be a massive amount of animation work? Yes. Could that work be better spent on other things? Probably. But it doesn't matter. As long as I get to see Ganondorf do the Macarena, it would be worth it. Much as I'd love to leave you with that inspiring image, I do need to explain something. We have only scratched the surface of the things I want to say about Smash. I still have to talk about newcomers, veterans, items, stages, and more. And that's simply too much to cover in one video. So consider this the first of a series of Smash videos, where each successive one will cover a different Nintendo franchise. I'll keep making them until I get bored, at which point I'll make another one every now and again. So is that understood? Are we clear? Great. Goodbye.